Hello everyone and welcome to TOTWHU Games match preview of Tottenham Hotspur against West Ham United. The Europa League, it's parked for now. West Ham are into the quarterfinals, but we're aiming to get European football next season as well through the league competitions. And the best way to do that is by beating Tottenham on Sunday. But will we do it? That's what we're here to discuss. But Gonzo, can you kick us off as always with your thoughts on Spurs, please?
Yeah, obviously a change of manager this season. They eventually got the guy that they initially wanted. He's been backed. I feel he's been backed in a January window, not just by who he's been able to bring in, but who he was able to get rid of. And that must have really stuck in Daniel Levy's throat because he really likes to give away players, particularly on a deal that's stacked against Tottenham, which I feel that Dele Alli one was. You know, for it to work out, Dele Alli had to be a roaring success at Everton this season for them to really get any decent money out of it, as I understand it. So got rid of Ndombele as well, and then brought in players more akin to his liking. Look, they're a bit patchy. You don't know whether, you can say, don't know whether the Man City Tottenham team are going to turn up or the Middlesbrough Tottenham team are going to turn up at the moment. But I do think they're a good team. And I think the main thing that he has done, Conte, he is a funny one. He's a bit emotional. Is he's got Kane firing because Kane was having a sulk at the start of the season. Kane is at his absolute best at the moment, and that's got to go down to the manager.
What do you make of Conte's sort of tenure so far? Like you said, he's made some big changes. He's getting the best out of Kane, but it's been a bumpy ride so far. I mean, after the Burnley game, it was almost like he wanted to quit, or he's almost like being calling out the board to sack him to some extent.
Well, I feel he's like that almost. That was an extreme one, and because that was very much, he almost said or hinted at the words on camera. I think interview with Sam Matterface on TalkSport, possibly. But I feel he's like that every time he loses. And I do sort of get that. So I think he's on this massive high when he wins. And he talks about this group of players and everything, and talks about Harry Kane being. I remember him saying at one point, "Oh, the players are really good. Son is excellent. The players I brought in are great. I will try and improve Harry Kane, but how can you? He's already brilliant. Everyone was brilliant, and everything was brilliant, and then everything's terrible immediately afterwards. So I feel that almost every time they lose, there is a vibe that actually that's it. Conte's walking. So they could win 2-3 games, lose. That's it. Conte's walking. He won't put up with it. I think you've got that suggestion of some discord between him and the owner. Sorry, the owner, the chairman, Daniel Levy. Of course, he's not the owner, is he? And I just think it's a cloud that the club probably don't need hanging over them. I think he's an excellent manager, but I don't look at the situation and think, oh, that smacks of stability. And it's probably what Tottenham needs at the moment is stability.
Yeah, I actually think Conte is what they need, though. While I agree that they need stability, I actually think Conte is world class. I think they got it wrong getting Nuno. They should never have got someone like Nuno in. It was never really going to work at Spurs. You just have to look at the football that Nuno served up at Wolves. He did quite well there by playing defensive counter-attacking football. And when you're trying to justify that stadium, and you've got players like Harry Kane, and you're sort of playing as if you are the underdogs in every single game, it was never really going to work. But the way I see it, this is almost like a massive pre-season for Antonio Conte. I feel like this season is Antonio Conte has got months to work with his team, get rid of the ones he don't like, the ones he's unsure of, find out whether he wants to get rid of them or not in the summer. He's made a couple of additions that, well, I think he's made a fantastic signing in January. I didn't know too much about Kulusevski. No. He's like the left-footed Son. When I watch him, I think, wow, that's their front three complete now. That one signing has completed that front three. I don't mind Lucas. I know you're a big fan of Lucas. Bergwijn, I thought, was all right as well. But this guy's come in, and he just looks the most Antonio Conte striker, attacking player I've ever seen. But if they can make more additions like that in the summer, they'll be a bloody good team. And he's now working out, he's got his back three settled. He's got his wing backs in place. He's got his formation implemented now. It's a case of, do you work in my formation? And he's got the rest of the season to find out. And I think he needs backed in the summer. And if they do back him, I think they'll have a bloody good team there. They've got the top manager. Like you said, they've got some top players there. So they've got a couple of world-class players at Spurs. There's not that many Premier League teams with a world-class player. West Ham do, but not many teams do have them, but Tottenham do. And I just think that Levy needs to swallow a massive bit of pride, really. And he won't like a manager having power at the club, if you like the manager having more power than him, more sway than him. And he's going to need to allow it, though. He's going to need to allow Spurs to become Antonio Conte's Spurs. At the minute, it's a bit of Pochettino Spurs, it's a bit of Nuno Spurs, a bit of Conte Spurs. It's just a mess. It's a right mishmash. But they've now got a manager there that can oversee major changes and have them competing on major fronts next season going forward if he's back sufficiently. He doesn't necessarily need big money spent, Conte, but he needs to bring in his players, but it doesn't always have to be big check ones. We've seen him at Inter Milan bringing like Ashley Young, and it worked because it was his man. He was able to bring in his man and play his way. I think if Levy can just keep his hands off a little bit and just hand it over to the manager, I think he might reap the rewards for it. But it's going to be a very bumpy journey. It's been bumpy so far, and I think it will continue to be bumpy because, like you said, it doesn't really smack of stability. It feels like the foundations are built on a house of cards a little bit with that manager there. But they finally got their man and they need to back him now. Anyway, before we talk about more Spurs, let's point in the direction of the video sponsors, which is the OneFootball app. It's the best way of keeping up to date with everything going on at your football club, and it's completely free to download. Links in the description and of the pinned comments of this video, so please use that link to download it. It takes about 20 seconds from clicking it to having it on your device, loaded up with your favourite team and everything you need to know. Lots and lots of stuff going on at both clubs at the minute, but in particular West Ham with the Europa League draw coming up. When you're watching this, the draw has been done. Find out more about our upcoming opponents. Get into the OneFootball app. On the bottom right, click on your profile, click on West Ham, and it'll tell you all you need to know about the draw. You can even click on the team and have a little look around their season so far and the stats, the squad, everything. The best football app for the football fan. Myself and Gonzo will be using it on Sunday, an hour before kickoff, because we'll get a notification that says, excuse me, the lineups are out, so it'll tell you the Tottenham team, the West Ham team, how they think both managers are setting up this weekend. Right, Gonzo, it feels a bit of a straight shootout, doesn't it, between us and Tottenham? Currently we're 6th, they're 7th. They've got a game in hand. We're 3 goal different. Plus 3 goal difference greater than them, hence why we're in 6th. And it just, obviously Man United are still in there. It feels like 4th's gone. Arsenal's going to get 4th. We've got Wolves just behind us in 8th as well. But I think it feels like us v Spurs for 6th, really.
It feels that way, but I wouldn't give up on 5th just yet. I don't think we will, but I wouldn't be looking at it and giving up on it. And I'd also, Arsenal do look really good, and I think you're right. And with the games at hand, that being said, Villa are not a bad team. So, if Villa, I think Villa are playing Arsenal this weekend. If that was a draw, then the other clubs around start thinking, "Oh, hold on a second, are they going to have a little dip here or something?" So, I think there's a shootout. Look, we're in a mix. That's all we can really ask for, and it's unbelievable that we are massively batting above our average, really, given the depth of the squad, given the injuries, and every time something happens, you think it's going to be derailed, and this time it's Bowen being out. Yet on we plod, and it is, the goal difference is amazing actually when you look at the goal difference. It's I was talking about it a lot last season. It's back-to-back seasons now for West Ham with a positive goal difference. I know it doesn't sound much, it doesn't sound that big a deal, but actually I think it is. I've been staring at that league for years. We always got a minus goal difference. It just shows how much we've improved. So look, a shootout for Europe, no doubt about it. And as we've obviously just seen, it's a real special thing to be involved in.
Praise Meyer.
Well, the guy Kulusevski, what's his name? Excellent.
Kulusevski, yeah,
something like that. He is excellent. You're absolutely right. But it's funny what you said about him. An Antonio Conte type forward. You've never seen such an Antonio Conte forward. It's funny because I thought that when I saw Bentancur play for the first time. Well, now there's someone that plays in that system. Really a bit of a workaholic, isn't he? Very, very disciplined. You could just see he looked like someone that had been playing in the Italian league that would sign for an Italian manager who was very disciplined. And one of those players, you get the impression that Conte doesn't worry about him. Okay, he's on the pitch. I know what I'm getting out of him. I thought that was quite interested. I noticed Sessegnon had disappeared from the team, I think, in the recent weeks. But actually, I thought his career was over at Tottenham. So I think actually the manager quite likes him. So I think he might feature. As I'm not saying he's a brilliant player, but I thought his career was dead. I thought it was 30 million wasted. Actually, looks like he might feature. Just goes to show the value of a new manager coming in, doesn't it? That everyone gets I say everyone gets a chance. Maybe not everyone, because some players go out the door. But you just might have different ideas. I do look. The other day we were doing a video, and I think maybe one of the Patreon videos, and somebody asked a question. Maybe it was a mug of tea or it was a cup of tea or something. Somebody asked a question: out of all the players, which one out of the other teams, which one would appeal to David Moyes? Who's the most David Moyes type player? And because the question was right then, I didn't have time to think about it. But afterwards, I did think it's Son. It is Son. Son is an amazing player. He really is. He's got absolutely everything. His attitude as well. I mean, he's seems like a really, really decent guy. They've got some good players there. But let me just a quick word on Harry Kane, because I just think he's sensational. I know we've spoken about him lots and lots. He's just a brilliant, brilliant world-class player. I think I cannot speak highly enough about Harry Kane. Absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, I should hate Harry Kane, Tottenham in England, but he's world class. He's a world class finisher. He's a world class number 10 as well. He's just ridiculously good. I think he's one of the best creative players in the Premier League, as well as one of the best finishers in the Premier League. I think Christian Romero is one of the best centre backs in the Premier League, actually. He's a bit of a lively one, almost guaranteed a booking every single game. But on the ball, I think he's one of the best. He's up there with likes of Van Dijk. Off the ball, reading of the game, that is superb. I think since he's come in, I've been very impressed by him. Sessegnon's been injured the last couple of games, but that's what Conte's done. He's brought Sessegnon back in. He looks good. He looks fitted for that role, and he's done the same with Matt Doherty. He was another one that looked like he was down and out at Tottenham. He went in there and he had off the back of a good campaign with Wolves. It's not really worked out for him a little bit, and he's gone back in. He looks like what they thought they were buying, which is a really attacking right wing back that's got a bit of a goal threat about him, defensively solid, can get the crosses in. And speaking of Kane, he's one of the best in the air as well. So you've got two players out there providing him with the crosses into the box and stuff. So I've been very impressed by Doherty in recent weeks. And Kulusevski, like I mentioned earlier, I never really heard of him, to be honest with you. So when he come in, I thought, who's this guy? He goes straight into the team, and a very, very unselfish player. Very unselfish. Whenever Tottenham go forward, he's always looking for that through ball to Son or Kane, and the three of them just link up. We know Son and Kane link up ridiculously good. Now, historically, the best partnership in Premier League history in terms of setting each other up for goals and stuff. They've now overtaken Drogba Lampard. But they've just added somebody just fits. It just fits. It reminds you of like the Liverpool trio, if you like, of Salah, Firmino, and Mane, where the three of them as a three just work. Yeah. But they've got that now at Spurs, whereas Lucas just didn't quite work. Bergwijn didn't quite work, but now they've got somebody. It's just flawless. It's like the light-footed Son to me. Anyway, enough about Tottenham. Let's talk about West Ham United. Now, I ask you the team you want to see, Gonzo, but it's almost like we'll change our goalkeeper, and that's it, really.
Yeah, it seems that way, and why not? Good on them. Good on the goalkeepers. Good on David Moyes. He's clearly made a decision. He clearly is a man that sticks with his decisions, and that is there's your league goalkeeper and there's your European goalkeeper. So yeah, Fabianski comes back in, and how nice, by the way, was it to see Fabianski celebrating with Areola. He had a little chat with after the game against Sevilla. Had a little chat, I think, with Yarmolenko, and gave him a cuddle. But then, straight a big celebration. You could tell that they'd obviously been working on something in training, and big high fives, and I think that was really, really nice. So some genuine goodwill from Fabianski that Areola played in that. You could just sell that. But yeah, Fabianski back in. The team has to pick itself because they all deserve it, and we don't have a very big squad. You can't really make a case, unless it's for fitness, you can't really make a case for Vlasic starting or anybody else, really. And we've got the international break coming up afterwards, obviously. So I think one more go, lads, and then have a little break, unless you're Declan Rice, of course.
Yeah, and the team pick itself. Fabianski will come back in. Now, what I will say, though, this is going off at a tangent a little bit, but we don't have to discuss the lineups as we usually do. I think, because I can't be asked in a video about this, and you can steal it if you want. I think Moyes is almost creating a bit of a dilemma with Areola, because when you have your cup goalkeeper, usually they're old and you're just doing it for almost like a gesture to some extent, or they are second choice in their proper second choice. You know, like when we had like sort of Adrian and Randolph, it was like you were almost like a two second choice goalkeeper. You're just alternating between them in the league and the cup. It wasn't that big a deal. But Ariola's a bit different because his age profile's good. He's a top class goalkeeper, and he was, heroic last night against Sevilla. That save was world class. And if we were to progress further in the Europa League, I think Moyes almost puts a bit of pressure on himself to sign that goalkeeper. How can you almost have a keeper? West Ham have a successful European adventure, and Ariola plays a big part of that. And then in the summer, say, well, thanks for that, mate. I'm not going to sign you anymore. We're going to go for the free option in Sam Jones. I don't think you can. I think his performances last night, Ariola's, just ups the necessity to sign him, actually, and to keep this, like you said, we've got the squad harmony there among the goalkeepers themselves. You've almost got to keep that going forward to some extent. I think last night is a very, very big point as to why we need to sign Ariola. Yes, he will be expensive. Yes, he will cost 15 million that we could probably do without spending, and his wages are going to be quite big. But if he keeps playing like he has done, we don't really have an option. It's like Jesse Lingard again. You can't not sign him. He's too important to the squad. How can you not sign that person? But for this one, Fabianski comes back in off a really good performance against Aston Villa last week. He was, man of match contender. So it's not like we're bringing in a keeper just for the sake of it. We've got two banging form goalkeepers at the minute. So Fabianski comes in. Ben Johnson, Gonzo, called up for England under 21s as well, so that's a massive.
It's wonderful, isn't it? I thought he was too old. I was surprised when I saw him. But... Yeah, I think there's obviously some rule that I understand it. If you're 21 or under when a tournament starts, then you can do go all the way to the final or whatever. I think it's massive, and I'm so chuffed. I'm really, really chuffed. I think it's really good news, and we were all sort of hoping that Jared Bowen would be fit and would be selected for England, I think, as well. So that's obviously disappointing for him. But there's some real good news there. I'm absolutely delighted. I mean, and rightly so. He is a Premier League player now. He's playing, and he was playing regularly in the Premier League. Where I looked at the list of that under 21. Not too many of them are, and playing at a high level, playing European football. There can't be that many that are playing at the level that he is playing at, and obviously going to offer them versatility like he does for us.
And for those that don't know, then that means Fabianski will be in goal with Johnson, Dawson, Zuma, and Creswell at the back. Declan Rice sort of in a more defensive midfielder role recently. I think he continued that last night, a bit more of a restricted one with a liberated Thomas Souček next to Manuel Lanzini with a front three of Fornals, Antonio, and Said Benrahma. I think Benrahma's starting to make the shirt his own, to be honest, Gonzo. Whenever we do a preview, always put him in, take him out, put him in, take him out, and usually that's through his own fault, really. He goes in, doesn't really perform, so it's like, well, no point keeping him in for the next game. But I think he's starting to sort of, this 11, for the first time in quite a while, just picks itself, really, doesn't it? Normally we've got discussions about who to pick and stuff, but for the first time in a little bit, it's like, we know what we're going to do. They all deserve to play on merit.
Yeah, and I was really pleased. Well, I think I said it it's obviously created a couple of goals against Aston Villa, and I remarked on his celebrations afterwards and how involved he seemed with the team. And you look and you will see the same thing from the European game as well. He looked very much part of it, and all the celebrations on the pitch. He looks like one of the team. He looks like one of the lads. I think it's really good to see. I was really delighted with his little pass for Antonio, the little fake shot and then the little inside pass, I thought was magnificent, actually. And if there's one thing I think he's guilty of, I think he's a bag of tricks, but we only really ever see one. And this is really nice. Well, okay, that's something different. We don't really see that little, giving him the eyes, the fake shot. It was a feint. He did a little feint and then passed it in the opposite, the reverse pass. Really nice. So, yeah, I would like to see more of his creativity, actually, and only getting a run in the team will hopefully bring that confidence out of him. He's a mate, iconic night, wasn't it? And he was a massive part of that team. So the team has to pick itself and he has to be involved.
Massive night last night against Sevilla, massive win, massive performances. But while last night was sort of a bigger game, obviously the stature of it and stuff, I think in terms of the long-term progress of West Ham, I think you could make an argument that this game's actually bigger because I think it's if we can qualify for European football 2 years on the bounce through the league positions. I think that's a huge achievement. That's a 76 game achievement. That to do it 2 seasons in bounce, 38 games a season, that's 76 games. So you qualify for European football 2 years in a row. That's a 76 game achievement. That, and I think we've spoken about how it's a straight shootout, or it feels like a straight shootout between us and Spurs for 6. Because at the minute 7, getting no European football depends on the outcome of the FA Cup. I think this game on Sunday is massive. It's almost just as big as the Sevilla one, but for different reasons.
Yeah, well, I think it's a measure of a team. That's a really good point. So I don't think aside from the big clubs, I don't think there are too many teams. I think that do that. You know, when you start to look at a club of our traditional stature and traditional standing, you know, double seasons in Europe is normally what the big clubs do. You know, obviously you expect it from Man United and some, but even they've dipped out. You know, on seasons. Obviously, Tottenham have bucked that trend and qualify for Europe on a regular basis these days. So yeah, big. Sorry, what?
Nothing. Carry on.
Yeah. So you know, I think, and yeah, but it's good. It's really good. It's going to be a really important game. I would agree. This would be the measure of it. If we can carry on our run in Europe, and if we can take European football in terms of our league position to the last game of the season, that would be absolutely wonderful to still be in with a shout for it. Certainly.
Yeah, I was kind of glad that we played Spurs this Sunday because if the worst thing happened last night and we went out, I thought we'll get up for it. We'll get up for Tottenham on Sunday straight away. The next day, right back in training, we're going again on Sunday. Whereas with the greatest of respect, we had Burnley away on Sunday. It'd be quite difficult to G everybody back up, the players and the fan base. It's a bit. But we're out of Europe. Yeah, but we've got Burnley on something. Yeah, I know, but I'm going to just be a bit miserable for a few days if you don't mind. But with the Spurs one, I was sort of pleased that we had it on the horizon, and I still am. Obviously, we've gone through, and I think we almost need this. Not necessarily momentum or confidence boost, but we're the wave of just feel good factor at the club at the minute is nothing like I've ever experienced. Really, the players will be feeling that, and it's almost like we're going in to play Tottenham on Sunday with an unfair advantage to some extent because we've got something you can't coach, you can't teach, you can't buy. You get it through performances, through nights like last night. Yes, with that as well. But because of last night, we've just got this thing. I don't know how to describe it. How would you describe this aura of
I think it is massive feel good momentum is what it is. It really is. And you could I've been and watched all the interviews today with the players, and I've watched Joe Cole and Carlton Cole. You know, two great people to have in the I guess in the commentators box or whatever it was. They're really excited. The interview with Declan, the interview with Moisey, to hear that. I loved that Moyes went in there at half time and said, I think we've got this lick, lads. I think we're going to win this. I mean, that's a great thing to say, manager at half time. I'm sure they all say it. I'm sure they all say stuff like that. But we've spoken about messaging in recent days from the manager to the players. So, yeah, there's definitely a buzz around West Ham at the moment, certainly. But yeah, but to be fair, to Tottenham, I think they're in a good little. I think they've won 2 or 3 games on the bounce, so they're in quite a good form.
Their last like 8 games or something is literally gone win lose win lose win lose win lose.
How did they get
won
on?
The last one?
How did they get on in How did they get on in yesterday when they played last night?
Well, they won on Wednesday.
No, when they played in Europe? How did they get on? Are they in?
You stop your trolling.
I'm asking. I'm just asking. Oh, okay.
You stop your trolling. Are you confident for Sunday?
Yeah. Yeah, I am. I am. Look, I think they're really good. I think they're sizzling actually. Sometimes when I see them play,
just for context, right? Just for context, would you still be this confident if we went out last night, or as a result of going through last night, that just gets your confidence up?
No. I think since the Liverpool game, because I felt we had really good chances. I felt we failed to create chances for a little bit. We had a little lull And I felt we defended brilliantly against Liverpool, and I felt we had created chances. And then obviously I thought we justly won against Aston Villa, because I thought we were the better team against Aston Villa. I think over 2 legs against Sevilla, I think we defended superbly, and all the best chances in both legs. I think West Ham had the best chances overall over 2 legs in both games. So, by the way, and I look at that now, and every time I've seen Tottenham, the reason I say this, I think when they play the counter attack and there's all that space for them to run into, I think they're absolutely electric. I really do. But we're just not going to give them that much space. We're really not. And I just think every game is tight now. I'm not saying we're definitely going to beat Tottenham, but as I say, I think we're always in games now, and we do have a team spirit. Souček is creeping back into form, which I think is massively important for West Ham. And sometimes timing is everything. I think there's the timing of this, a time when you lose Bowen, who was such a big part of our attacking play, to lose Bowen, but then to have somebody who scored double figures goals for us last season come back into form is massive. Antonio, all right, I know he's not scoring loads, but he's getting assists now. And then we've got this other, you said you were looking for a word earlier, with this other narrative going on, running alongside it, which is the whole Yarmolenko situation as well. So you've now got this mate.
Got an extra player.
It's like an extra player, and people want him to come off the bench. Moyes is going to feel like he can impact it. And that, again, if you were in opposition, you'd probably think, oh, no, not him. Do you know what I mean?
Where did you used to think that?
We for different reasons. Yeah. But there you go. I can't. Yeah, I am confident for this one. I'm not saying we're definitely going to thrash them, but we're in the shout. They will not want to be playing us. No one will want to play us at the moment. I bet Conte's probably looking at it thinking, oh, I'd rather playing Brighton again or whatever,
Yeah, I'm confident as well. It is a large part down to last night, but I just don't think you can't not take that into consideration. The feeling of that win last night, you just can't ignore that. The confidence boost to the players, the confidence boost to Souček scoring, the confidence boost to Yarmolenko scoring again. He's sat on the bench now. He'll be foaming at the mouth to get on Sunday. After 5 minutes, he's going to be saying, "Come on, Gaffer, get me on. I can go on and get a goal," kind of thing. I think in the last few weeks, I feel people may disagree. I feel we've seen a new role. I say a new role. We've gone back to basics with Declan Rice, which is your defensive midfielder. Souček, your shackles are off. I think in a couple of games he's got in the box and he's not been doing it. He did it on Thursday night. And I think we will see this trio of Rice, Lanzini and Souček remain between now and the end of the season. And come January, February even, I felt like teams worked out how to play against us, which is come down the middle of the pitch. Leeds were coming down the middle and having joy. That's stopped now. We've tightened up in there with Declan sort of going back to his new role. Souček's performing a little bit better. Lanzini's gone in there. You can't come down the middle against us. We just dominated Sevilla's midfield, which Rakitic, Jordan, these are top centre midfielders. We just dominated that midfield, I felt. And I think between now and the end of the season, I think we'll see Souček score 3 or 4 more goals. I think this gone back to Souček of last season. I felt like last night we've seen Souček of last season. I think we'll see Souček again on Sunday playing like he did last year. And you have to take all these things into consideration. And Tottenham are, if they've got world-class players, they can be a top team, but they can also be dreadful. They can also struggle to break teams down. They can also look like a team that's in transition, which is okay because that's what they are. Antonio Conte is still working a few things out there. And I just think it's a bad time to be playing West Ham. It's not necessarily a good time to be playing Spurs, but it's a bad time to be playing West Ham on Sunday for Tottenham. I think we've got the cup draw. We're recording this midday on Friday, so we've got the Europa League draw in a bit. The other 7 teams don't want West Ham, and I think it's a bit like that on Sunday. I think Tottenham will be thinking we don't want this, and I don't mind saying this. We do up our game for Spurs. We do. There's no point ignoring it. We have some good results against them in the past and recent history as well. And if they're Tottenham fans, because they say, well, it's your cup final. Well, I'm okay with that. If that means we win the game and then we go on and get European football, I'm all right with it being our cup final. It won't be. We've got one in Sevilla and
we got both. I'm saying we get our domestic, a very important domestic game for us. Obviously not.
Do you know, like, I might do this with you in the international break. I almost want to do, like, if we did like a West Ham Room 101, I think I'd put in there this whole downplaying football rivalry. I don't get it. So when talking as your so what? Yes, we don't like you. Yes, we love to beat you, but that's a healthy thing. That is healthy in football. I've never understood why fan bases try and dismiss the importance of games. Oh yeah, we don't care about it. You should do. You should care about it. Maybe if you did,
But
you
mate,
would be
do you know
seventh
what?
in the Premier League.
You're probably right there. You're probably right because, and I mean, but that is a club mentality. You don't hear that from the other clubs. You don't hear Liverpool, Manchester United, and big clubs like that. You don't really hear that from their fans. Not about West Ham, but you don't really notice it towards anybody else. They're not saying to me, "Oh, it's your cup finals," because they're used to everyone wanting to beat them. They're used to that. In many respects, it's a bit like, funny enough, you hear it with rugby. So England to play rugby, and it's a really big game. So the Calcutta Cup is Scottish, really, really big game for the Scottish. The Irish really, really want to beat England. The Welsh really want to beat England. You've got this big Aussie rivalry as well. And you hear it so much that actually you were just aware, actually everyone wants to beat you. You're a scalp. Do you know what I mean? And I think the genuinely big clubs, they're just used to everybody wanting to beat them. And I think Tottenham's level has risen so much in recent years. They sort of qualify for Europe quite a lot now, quite a lot. And I think, but they're still probably getting used to the fact that actually they've grown as a club. They've got a 60,000 seater stadium now. And actually, it's not just a case of West Ham want to beat you. It's playing Tottenham's a big game for everybody. And I think, that's probably, their next step in their journey, so to speak. I do want to say, actually, but I want to say at the start, I do think Daniel Levy, by the way, I think his time's done at Tottenham. I think he's done some good things, but I think actually for them to get to that next level, and they're primed for it. They really are. They're in a really healthy position financially. They've got an excellent manager. The stadium's outstanding. I think the stadium's the best stadium in the country. I really do. The outstanding stadium there. But I think they have quite a small-minded chairman, and they need somebody that thinks big. I think he should probably step aside. And I wouldn't be surprised if there'd be Tottenham fans that would agree with me there. I think for them to move on, he probably needs to go.
Anyway, Sunday, score prediction.
2-0 West Ham.
I'm going to say 1-0 West Ham. I'm feeling it as well, Gonzo. I'm feeling it. I'm going to say 1-0 West Ham. What a massive win that would be in terms of 6th place in the Premier League. Huge game coming up on Sunday. Let us know in the comments how you're vibing the game. If you enjoyed the preview, drop a like on it. Subscribe to the channel. Myself and Gonzo. We'll catch you in a bit.